My name's Director Mallon and we're here at Mharsanta in the Merchant City in Glasgow today. So in my role as Food Tourism Ambassador for Glasgow, we will be looking to promote food tourism across Glasgow. So this is working with Scotland Food and Drink, and it's the promotion of Scottish produce and also looking at sustainable Scottish produce and promoting that to visitors to the city. We're taking part in Play Up for Glasgow this year because we've been on a bit of a journey. I think like most people have. It's an incredibly important part of the future for, not just for individuals or for individual businesses, but for society as a whole and for the world. It's really important that we reduce food waste, that we make the most of it. You know, the sort of food waste problem is is well documented. If everyone does their part to reduce food waste, that's another little step forward in tackling the problems that the world faces going forward. We source as much as we can of our food and drinks locally because we particularly value the quality, the great Scottish produce that we have on our doorstep. I think the public, be it local people or we look after a lot of visitors to the city as well, and they really appreciate the fact that the produce is fresh, it's not contributing to huge food miles, it's home cooked, and it's of that quality where people really appreciate what they're getting. At Mharsanta, we try to work with as many local producers as we possibly can, and so we work with people like the fish people who supply all our seafood. Our butchers are Rogers Butchers, who are just out in the West End of Glasgow, but we also work with Graham's Dairies and people like Tennent's as well. They're only barely a mile away. We have developed a few food and drink experiences. This is about collaborating with others a lot of the time. We look after a lot of visitors to the city on coach tours or just independent travellers, and often we've found that they're looking for something other than just food and drink. So we started working with some live music providers. We have worked with the guys at Shivers to do whisky blending sessions, which were incredibly popular. We work with the guys at Eat Walk tours, again looking after visitors to the city who are on a bit of a walking tour and eating tour, but it just brings an extra dimension to an evening out. The next step for Glasgow, I think, is to try and use more of our outdoors. We've seen that over the last 18 months through the pandemic, that people would sit outside as much as you would see them doing in sort of big European cities, albeit we don't necessarily always have the weather. I think I'd like to see more opportunity for bars and restaurants across the city to utilise properly and permanently outside seating. I think that Glasgow, in terms of the food and drink industry and hospitality, is pretty unique. It is such a friendly city. The feedback that we get, how people enjoy coming into restaurants and bars in Glasgow, not just our own, but across the city, it pays a real compliment to the people of Glasgow that work in the bars and restaurants, and the levels of hospitality that they offer, making people feel welcome from wherever they come from, be it local or anywhere across the world.